My name is Matt Finikos. I'm a stand-up comedian from the Boston area. I started comedy after I graduated from Roger Williams in 2018. So this is my I'm coming up on my 4-year anniversary. I felt like I lost a little bit of a year during the pandemic, but it's kind of back to normal. It's about, I'd say, like 75% back. So been performing all over kind of New England and yeah, continuing to develop my act. And then I always enjoyed making people laugh, and kind of you find that like doing it on stage is a little bit healthier than doing it in certain places, I'd say. To develop my act, I go to like an open mic. I try to go to at least 5 open mics a week. That's where anyone can show up to an open mic and perform. Like, doesn't matter. And that's where you work material out for a paid show. People call it the batting cages for comedians, and it's just part of the process. So there's a lot of turnover in open mic comedy. I think like the retention rate of like 1 year of stand-up is probably really low, because most people that are doing open mics are going to do it like 1 to probably 5 times and be like, okay, this is a lot of work. I don't have time for this. Because like when I first started, I had the perception that like you would just go up on stage and then be in front of like a paid, like everyone would, you know what I mean? Like you could just go up to a great room and like do stand up, and that is the furthest thing from the truth. You have to work so many bad rooms before you can get a better room. You get like some people that were watched, so like the best case scenario is like a new comedian mistakenly brings a bunch of their friends to an open mic. Mm-hmm. Like it's like my first time doing comedy. Here's a bunch of my friends that want to see me do comedy, and like those are like usually when you'll get like audience members at it. I consider myself like preferably a joke writer, so I will go and like write jokes, throughout the course of the day, and then test the water, see if they're funny. 99% of the time they are not. It's just the law of averages. Keep writing, something's going to be funny. And I've been trying to mix it up. I do a lot of like quicker jokes. I've been trying to mix it up lately and try to talk a little bit more, do more anecdotal stuff, because most of my stuff is, absurdist or fictional. For me, I like, whenever I would do a drama play, I would I feel like, try to make it funny. Like, I don't know, I'm like, it felt kind of weird when it wasn't funny. And I'm like, I did drama stuff, and I didn't feel like I did, I don't know if I think I was fine at it. I don't think I was like as good as other people at it. I really just wanted to make people laugh. That was like the only reason I got into like theater. And I did like the dramatic stuff, but I felt like the comedy side of like theater came a little bit more naturally to me. I think the hardest thing at the beginning is just like watching other people do really well, and then you're new, so you're not gonna do great or well, or you're just gonna bomb. Like, so it's like watching other people like do really well and then being like, wow, like that seems unachievable. You are just like kind of imitating your influences, like the people that you enjoy doing stand-up, and you try to like write jokes as if you're that person rather than kind of develop your own voice up there. And it's like kind of growing out of that is the biggest thing. They're still going to be influential to your work, but you do it in a way that's more personable and unique. You have to force yourself to learn how to like actually like be funny in terms of writing. I think like the fundamentals of joke, I didn't realize how important the fundamentals of joke writing is to be doing stand-up. I learned that like, I'd say within my first like few months, that like you got to have good jokes. I thought I was going to be like wicked energetic and like physical, and like I'm like, oh, I'll just make people laugh by being like a goon up there. And then I got up there and I'm like, oh, like after a couple times trying to like do like stuff like that, it's just like, wow, it's too painful to like bomb like that. So like and then like you can add the other stuff on later. A lot of my jokes I try to like have a joke in under 20 seconds and then move on to the next joke. So like there's not like a lot of like, it's just like changing the next thing. It's not like, I don't, like some comedians will joke about the same thing, like tell a story for 5-6 minutes. I'll tell for my like 7-minute act, I'll tell probably around like 14 jokes or something. I don't know exactly what the number is, but I try to have a punchline every 20 seconds. Seeing it live is substantially better. It's just like the energy of a live crowd makes things funnier. Like laughter is contagious. So like when you see other people enjoying it, you enjoy it more. And there's certain things I feel like that cannot be captured unless you're actually there. And I think stand-up's like one of those unique art forms that like I realized like during Zoom comedy, like if this is what comedy is going to be like, I don't want to be a comedian. Like I'm like, this is horrible. Like I did a couple Zoom shows and it's like you're telling like jokes and then your Zoom would buffer in the middle of your punchline and then like everyone was muted, so they'd give you like thumbs up when they thought something was funny. So there was it was just like, honestly, in my opinion, a detriment to stand up. I'm like, I'm better to just focus on like getting healthy at this point and like staying like being mentally sharp than like trying to force Zoom comedy. Like when you tell a joke, you have to wait for the audience. You don't want to step on your laughter. Like that's why you do stand up. You like timing's important for stand up. Like you work really hard to get someone to laugh. You should like enjoy the whole laugh. You should but you want to pause. You want to let people the joke breathe. So you gotta but like when there's no crowd there, that's what's happening on Zoom. It's just like completely throws off your timing. I'd say my material comes from probably just like thinking of the worst thing at the worst possible time. It's like for comedy, a lot of it's like you're like stating things that people don't want to sometimes say out loud. And it's like identifying things that that are maybe uncomfortable or that like you don't want to admit about yourself. So jokes I think are a lot of times rooted in anxiety and like what worries people. And a lot of times anxiety is thinking about the worst thing at the worst time. I think a lot of jokes come in like a lot of people have a train of thought, like a normal train of thought about where something is headed, and like a joke takes that train of thought and goes a complete 180. And I think that's like I think the best jokes are when people like can't stop laughing, like not like can't help themselves from laughing. And it's like a reflex. For me, like art can be really exhausting. I'm like really detail orientated, so like it's like emotionally it can be like really challenging to know that you kind of have to sit there and be like so hyper focused on things. It can like it's exhausting. So I think that's kind of like why I like tell shorter jokes, because I like everything so refined. And like sometimes I feel like longer jokes have things in them that like when mine was around 6 seconds, that's an art form. Like getting like that's like it's like really specific. Like you have 6 seconds to make a great video. So I feel like that in its way is its own art form. But then like when you go to like something that like can be a minute, like say TikTok, it's a way different ballgame. Came out with a short film. It's on my Instagram, Matt Finikos. My cousin and I, my cousin was a cinematographer. I wrote and directed it. It was a short film about a washed up high school baseball coach. It was a lot of fun. It's on YouTube too. It's called Coach, starring Dave Russo, longtime Boston comedian. I would say a legend around here. And it was a lot of fun to film. I mean, I had never wrote something like it was long. It was a lot longer. So it was like, I had like, so what happened was I tried to tell a joke, or like I wrote a joke that like I knew like wouldn't work for stand up, but like in a different context, it could be funny. And then it was like a failed, not, I wouldn't say a failed stand up joke, but like similar to a stand up joke that could be like, expanded. So I had like a vision, and then I'm like, oh, okay, why don't we do this? This will be fun. This will be a new experience, and then a lot of fun. My day jobs, I'm a substitute art teacher. So I landed a job that's for the full year. So it's like really like I'm an actual art teacher this year, but so it's like I go do stand up at night, wake up during the day, and wake up in the morning, get to work around 8, work from like 8 to around 3. And then go home and like try to do a little bit of artwork, try to do a little drawing, a little writing, and then stand up at night, and then like come back, reevaluate how the night went, and like refurbish jokes. Follow my YouTube channel, Matt Finikos, and then follow me on Instagram at Matt Finikos as well.